Good day, I'm Jason from Jason Pollack Photography, and today I want to talk a little bit more about artificial intelligence. This doesn't seem like a topic that's too relevant to photographers, but I do think I should talk about it anyway because, well, AI is used in photography, it's creeping its way into photography, but in general, I think it's just good to talk about these things and not get too myopic in topics. Just because this channel is about photography doesn't mean I'm only ever going to talk about things directly related to photography. But yeah, so this is about artificial intelligence. The main topic I want to talk about today is the sort of increased performance that was recently achieved by OpenAI's O3 model. And basically, what has occurred is that we have a very high score on a test called ArcAGI, which is kind of a test used as one proxy indicator of artificial general intelligence, or building an artificial intelligence which has the capabilities, many of the capabilities at least, of sort of a human being or some entity that has some sort of general intelligence that can be applied to a variety of tasks. So I'm going to show you what this test looks like. Here we have on screen, it's basically a kind of puzzle where you have a blue grid, and the blue grid has 4 colors in it. Here we have yellow, light blue, green, and red. And you have to position these sort of 9x9 grid elements in the grid corresponding to where the colors are. So we have a test here. We have a red item on the top. So you see the red center is here. And we just kind of copy the red element. Now there's a light cyan element. So I'll select the cyan color. The cyan center is down here. So I'll put the cyan center here. And we have this pink color here. The pink goes down here. We'll put the center here to up here. Boom. And finally, we got the green color. The green color center is going to be here. And you kind of just do that. Just copy the object. Now let's click. Let's test it out. Submit solution. Whoa! I solved the daily prize. Now, for AI to do this is quite impressive and actually quite impressively dangerous. So basically, if we look at the result, this official website of the ARC prize shows that this O3 made a significant leap, compared to these older AI programs here. Now, this Aperture Mechanical Turker, that's just a person, some kind of random person. And STEM grad is just like someone, well, like me, I'm actually a STEM grad. I have a PhD in math. They score near 100%. And actually, the test is a very easy thing to do. But anyway, we have this O3 now, which is the program I'm talking about. The low and high between these two just corresponds to how much compute power they throw at it. But basically, it performs much better than previous AIs. I mean, a better than 75% score is kind of good. It's impressively scary, I would say. So what can we make of all this? Well, I think what we have to understand is not just the technical innovations. I mean, for me, the technical side is relatively uninteresting. What's much more interesting to me is that this is essentially a race to automate more and more facets of creativity, to automate more things that have traditionally been done by humans. And I think that's a very bad thing. I think what's happening here is that people are going to be automated at a very large scale. And the thing is that no one wants to be the last one to be automated. If you're doing the automating, then you can still make some money out of it, versus if you're the one being automated. So it's kind of a race to the bottom in a sense. And so it's kind of a total transformation of society. And I think that's a very bad thing. I think we shouldn't be doing this at all. And this result really represents a step that's not very pleasant in the grand scheme of things for humanity. I have to point out that humans have been automating things for a very long time, okay? We've been automating tasks since forever. We've been doing things like computers automate, like calculations that we previously had to do by hand. Computer algebra systems can do things that mathematicians once did by hand. Technology is an automating force, but AI is different than traditional automations in two ways, two important ways. First, AI attempts to automate creativity, which has traditionally been a sort of hallowed or sacred ground that we have not tried to automate in previous times. I mean, we've automated things, we've automated drudgery or hard work so that we can spend more time on creative tasks. And I think there's a general sort of good theme behind that, even though sometimes it is also taken too far. But I think there's a general good theme around that, and AI is different. It attempts to automate creativity. Previous automations have never attempted to do that. And so we're taking away the things about the ways we can contribute to society that are actually interesting and provide people with a sense of purpose. That's very different, I think, than previous automations. And the second is the speed. People often ignore this, but the speed of automation, the speed at which AI can transform society, is much faster than ever before. And we don't have the capability to handle that speed. We can only handle a certain speed. Just like when you're driving in a car and you can only handle a certain speed in your car, you can go maybe 100 kilometers an hour down the highway. But if you were driving 400 kilometers an hour down the highway, that would be too fast. And I think most people would not be fairly safe in a situation like that, especially with other cars around them. We just can't react that fast. And that's the same thing with the speed of AI. It's too fast of an automation for us to handle. And I think this is really a race to the bottom for money. It's a race to the bottom to concentrate wealth in the hands of the rich. You see that I recently saw a program where you could spend 12 weeks training to be an AI engineer. And after that, you get a guaranteed job offer for $200,000 a year. It's clear that it's very lucrative. It's aggressive. People are trying to do this as fast as possible so that they can grab a share of the pie. And that's not really improving life on a daily basis. And I want to talk about that. Technology in general is a thing of diminishing returns right now. Technology, of course, you can argue that it makes certain aspects of life easier, but the technologies that do make life easier have already been invented a long time ago. Very little new technology makes life better. Now, there are some exceptions, but 90% at least of technology being invented today is not really making life better. 90% of technology today is about automating things to make things slightly faster, to give people subtle economic advantages so that they use it, and in turn, other people are pressured to use it due to the prisoner's dilemma or arms race type scenario. I mean, just think about phones, for example. The original smartphone was a huge impact. Maybe as you go on, let's use the iPhone lineage because it's easy to imagine. Maybe the iPhone 7 or 8. They transform society. They're much different than previous technologies. But do you really gain a lot of benefit from upgrading to the latest phone? No, that's definitely not the case. I mean, the iPhone 14 or the iPhone 10, most people aren't going to notice a difference or even care about the difference. The diminishing returns of technology is what our society is built upon. And we continue to develop technology past the point of diminishing returns just because that is built into the fabric of society, not because it's beneficial to us in any larger scheme of things, in any larger way. Some people might say, well, maybe all this stuff about AI is hype. Well, it may be true that the fear-mongering about AI taking everyone's jobs is hype. I kind of think that to be true, but I'm not thinking about the next 2 years or the next 3 years. I'm talking about the next 10 years or the next 20 years. How is AI going to transform the entire landscape of useful work in that period of time? And some people might answer things like universal basic income, but the problem with that is that it still takes away the purpose from people's lives. Technology, in fact, has always been taking away some of the purpose and some of the meaning behind life because, today's jobs even. The typical job of today doesn't seem very meaningful. It's very random, bureaucratic, hyper-specialized. It doesn't seem like a large contribution to society. It's only a contribution to technology. And AI is going to be the sort of final step, the apex in that process of taking away meaning from people's lives. So I think that although there is hype behind AI, the general most important damaging effects of AI are not hype. They're absolutely real. And it's obvious what AI is doing. Another thing is the power of the tools. People often talk about AI is so powerful. It can be used to do things like find new cures for diseases, solve the climate crisis. Well, first of all, the climate crisis is not a technological problem. It's a social problem. It's caused by the very fabric of our society and can't be undone by technology. But even then, even if AI is so powerful and it can solve some problems, in the modern world. The problem with that is that for every application that's good, it has the potential to be misused and will be misused. People are already using AI to impersonate people's voices, to create deep fakes, to hack into computer systems to create malware. And so if the tool is so powerful that can be used for a very powerful good, it will also be used for a very powerful evil. Imagine if you were omnipotent, if you had ultimate power. I mean, that's not a power people should have. I mean, it's obvious that we should not have unlimited power. And I think the power is too far beyond our current level of wisdom, which is very rudimentary in comparison to our intellectual capabilities. And I think finally, if you're thinking about technology and technological determinism, technology is really a deterministic force because it involves along these things like I just talked about, arms races, prisoner's dilemma. It takes advantage of our instincts, our fear of death. We develop health technology and medical technology because we fear death in a largely purposeless world. And I think technology evolves that way, whether we want it to evolve or not. There's a reason why the Amish have very strong precautions against new technology, because technology is transformative and it's seductive and it's addictive. And I think it develops along that way. And if you think of technology, the total sum of technologies as kind of organism, then AI is really a sort of nervous system for that technological organism. It's a nervous system for the technological machine that will help it be more autonomous and get closer to the point of autonomy, of being able to develop itself. And that's a real danger point too. And I think we have to take these things into consideration. So what should be done about this? I advocate for the following: turn AI off. I don't think there's a middle ground. AI is not something that can be controlled, that will ever be controlled. I think humanity as a group needs to shut it down, needs to destroy it, needs to wipe it off the face of the earth. Is that possible? Is that likely? Well, I think probably not, but eventually, sooner or later, it's going to become so dangerous that we will be faced with that as the only possibility, sort of to save humankind. So I hope that video kind of helped you understand some of the dangers behind AI. It's kind of a bit of a rambling video. Maybe it's not so scientific, but it's my general feeling on the matter. As a mathematician, as someone who knows about technology, and someone who kind of has studied a lot of the philosophy behind technology for a long time, it's a little bit radical, but I do think that AI is a serious danger and there is no compromise. It's either not use it at all or face the destruction of the human race and the life as we know it today. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you again next time.